Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. Today I'm going to read from Genesis 41 9 to 16 in the King James Version, the Authorized Version, and make a couple of comments, and then we'll stop there. Um, so then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, this is 41 9, Genesis 41 9, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, I and he. We dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was with us a young man, a Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was. Me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself and changed his raiment and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst understand a dream to interpret it. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Now, after 2 years, the butler remembers, or maybe it should be, God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. Now, after 2 years, the butler remembers Joseph. But Pharaoh is desperate for an answer and ready to call his Hebrew prisoner to be brought before him. Joseph probably didn't just shave his face in a bowl of water with a razor. There is evidence that the Egyptians shaved the hair on their heads and face with razors, and even some evidence that at least the priest shaved their entire bodies. Lice was something that was disgusting to ancient Egyptians, I have read, and this sanitary practice became a cultural practice for those who were not desperately poor. Wigs were very popular among both men and women, and the Ebers medical papyrus gives us information about such details as how they made soap. Um, and there's lots of different sources to talk about that. So Joseph answers to Pharaoh. Joseph's answer to Pharaoh is significant in that he acknowledges that the interpretation of a dream is not in him, but from God. God will put Pharaoh's heart at rest regarding the meaning of the dream. See 1 Chronicles 22 9 and Isaiah 62 1 for peace and rest and quietness as synonyms. Pharaoh's troubled heart can only be calmed by God, and Joseph says God will do it. It reminds me kind of oddly about a psychiatrist or neuroscientist who studies consciousness and the brain. And I believe it was from one of the colleges in Virginia. And he said he believed that the brain did not generate thoughts, that but the brain and the body were like a receiver, like a cell phone, and things came from someplace else we haven't identified yet, and it's sort of like we're like a receiver. And when, of course, when that receiver is damaged, it can't receive or transmit anymore. So he said it's your consciousness, your thoughts are just like a lot like when you answer a cell phone. Um, the conversation does not originate in that phone. That phone is like your brain. Anyway, all that aside, it just came to mind. It wasn't part of my talk, wasn't part of my study, but it just kind of hit me about that. About the dream is in our head, but the interpretation of the dream comes from somewhere else. So from God. So anyway, we'll talk about how Pharaoh explains the dream to Joseph next time, and Joseph's response. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you'll pray about your Bible, study it, read it, cross-reference, look at the whole thing. So thank you.